The alien girl stood on the edge of her ship's observation deck. Her golden eyes stared at the blue planet below. Earth Lysera pressed her long fingers against the cold glass. "So, this is the place," she whispered. "Primitive, dirty, weak." Her people, the Zoran Empire, had ruled half the galaxy for centuries. They crushed hundreds of civilizations and made them slaves. Earth would be no different. At least that's what she believed until today. The dropship landed in a grassy clearing. The engines hissed and burned the ground. Trees toppled as the ramp lowered. 2 armored alien guards stepped out first, scanning the surroundings. Their silver suits gleamed under the sunlight. Behind them, Lysera followed, her elegant robe flowing like liquid metal. She wrinkled her nose. What a filthy world.
The air is too heavy, the gravity too strong.
How do these creatures even survive? Princess Lysera, said her lead guard. Varric, the humans are gathering in the village nearby. Shall we show force? She smiled coldly. Yes. Let them tremble.
Ass.
I want them to know who their new masters are. The aliens marched toward the small human village, their weapons humming softly. A group of humans stood waiting men with weathered faces, holding rifles and pistols. Their clothes were simple, mud-stained their boots. They are barely armed. Lysera said, laughing. Do they truly think those toys can harm us? Varric nodded. My lady, they cannot touch us. The humans didn't move. Their leader, an old man with gray hair and sharp eyes, stepped forward. He carried a battered rifle in his hands. You don't belong here, he said. His voice was calm but firm. Now, or we'll make you leave. Lysera's laugh echoed across the clearing. Make us leave? Your weapons are like sticks and stones against us. Kneel, human, and you might be spared. The old man's eyes narrowed. We don't kneel. For a moment, silence hung heavy in the air. A breeze carried the scent of grass and smoke. Then, one of the younger human soldiers raised his rifle and fired. Crack! The shot rang out. The bullet hit the first alien guard square in the chest. Lysera smiled, waiting for the shield to deflect it. It didn't. The bullet punched through the shield like it wasn't there. It tore through the alien's silver armor. A spray of purple blood burst into the air. The guard screamed, dropped his weapon, and fell to the ground. The second guard barely turned before another shot slammed into his neck.
Oh.
His shield flickered and died. He collapsed beside his comrade, choking on his own blood. Lysera froze. Her golden eyes widened in horror. How is this possible? She gasped. The humans didn't hesitate. More rifles fired. Bullets zipped through the air. Another alien soldier went down screaming. Fall back, Varric shouted. Protect the princess. Panic rippled through the alien ranks. Their energy shields sputtered and failed as the human bullets kept coming. The Zoran warriors weren't trained for this. They were used to fighting lasers and plasma-clean, precise weapons. Not these savage, explosive projectiles. Lysera felt her heart pounding in her chest. Get me out of here, she screamed. Varric grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the dropship. Around them, more Zoran soldiers fell. Some tried to fire back with energy rifles, but the humans had already scattered into the trees as the ramp closed behind her. Lysera collapsed against the cold metal wall. Her hands shook. This isn't possible, she whispered. They're primitive, crude weapons. And yet, the ship lifted off the ground. Through the small viewing window, Lysera watched as humans emerged from the forest. Their rifles gleamed in the sunlight. One of them raised a hand as if waving goodbye, but it wasn't goodbye. It was a warning. Cliffhanger ending for part 1. As the dropship shot into the sky, Lysera's mind raced.
Aye!
What kind of monsters are these humans? If their primitive weapons can break our shields, what else are they hiding? The scene ends. With her whispering to herself, we came here as conquerors. But I fear we've awoken something far worse. The alien ship hovered high above Earth's surface, its sleek silver hull glowing softly under the morning sun. Inside, Princess Lysera sat frozen in her chair, her golden eyes staring blankly at the holographic screen. On the display, 2 alien soldiers lay dead on the grassy field below. Purple blood stained their shattered armor. "This cannot be real," she whispered. "How did their crude weapons do this?" Her chief scientist, Arvin, shifted nervously beside her. "They're bullets. They are primitive, yes. But they hit with pure kinetic force. Shields are tuned for energy weapons. Lasers. Plasma. Not these. Are you telling me that sticks and stones killed my men?" Lysara's voice was sharp like a blade. Arvin swallowed hard. "Not sticks and stones, princess. It's metal slugs. Fast. Powerful. Our shields didn't even react." Lysara stood and slammed her hand on the control panel. "Unacceptable. We are the Zoran Empire. These creatures are nothing but animals. I will not return to high command with this shame." Her lead guard, Varric, stepped forward. "Shall we send a drone squad, my lady? Burn the village to the ground? To show them we are still their masters?" Lysara's lips curled into a cruel smile. "Yes. Destroy them. Make an example of these creatures." The drone attack begins minutes later. A swarm of alien drones streak down from the clouds. Their black insect-like bodies hummed with energy as they descended on the human village. Lysara watched from the ship's observation deck. "This is how it ends for them," she whispered. "Fire and ash." The drones entered attack formation. Red targeting lasers scanned the rooftops and streets below. Humans scattered like ants, running for cover. Targets locked. A drone's mechanical voice echoed. Firing. Beams of green energy lanced out, burning holes in the earth. Buildings collapsed under the onslaught. But then, something strange happened. The drones began to fall from the sky. One exploded in midair as a burst of metal shrapnel tore through its hull. Another spun wildly, trailing smoke, before crashing into the ground. "What is happening?" Lysara shouted. On the ground, human soldiers reappeared. They wheeled out strange, boxy weapons, old-fashioned anti-aircraft guns. The guns fired with deafening booms, filling the air with black smoke and screaming metal. Flak shells burst around. The drones, shredding their delicate wings and sensors. "Impossible," Arvin cried. "Those weapons are obsolete." "Obsolete doesn't matter if it works," Varric muttered grimly. Lysara's hands trembled as she watched her drones fall, one after another. In less than 2 minutes, the entire squad was gone. Burning wreckage rained down onto the village. On the screen, she saw a human soldier standing beside one of the big guns. His face was smeared with dirt and sweat. He looked up at the alien ship and spat on the ground. "They adapt too quickly," Arvin said softly. "They're learning." The Zoran plan fails back on the ship's command deck. Lysara paced furiously. "Unacceptable. They're not supposed to win. They are nothing, princess," Varric said cautiously. "We underestimated them. This is no ordinary prey the humans fight with. It's a different kind of ferocity. We should request reinforcements." Lysara shook her head. "No. High Command would strip me of my title if I call for help now. We are not retreating." Her golden eyes burned with rage and something else. Fear. "They will pay for this," she said. "They must." The human counterattacked that night, as the alien ship floated above the forest. A small group of human soldiers crept through the underbrush. Captain Marcus, the leader of the group, whispered to his men, "We've got one chance. Take out their sensors, blind them." They carried crates of explosives and old-fashioned rockets. To the Zoran, these weapons were relics of a barbaric age. But to the humans, they were tools of survival. The team reached a clearing where a glowing alien sensor tower stood. "Light it up," Marcus ordered. The humans fired rockets. Bright orange flames lit up the night sky as the tower exploded in. A shower of sparks. Lysara's fear grows alarms blared inside the alien ship. "Princess, our sensor array is down," shouted a technician. LYS. Eyes went wide.
"Oh."
"There's no way they could have. They're coming for us," Varric said grimly. On the viewing screen, they saw flashes of gunfire in the forest. Human. Soldiers moved like ghosts, striking fast and vanishing before the aliens could respond. They're fighting a war we don't understand, Varric whispered. A war of shadows. Lysera's breath came in short gasps. What are these humans? They don't stop. They don't fear us. Cliffhanger ending for Part 2. The human radio signals crackled through the alien ships comes. A deep, confident voice spoke in their own language. This is Earth. We are not prey. We are predators. And now. Hunchu Lysera felt her stomach twist into a knot. For the first time in her life, she knew what it felt like to be afraid. The Zoran ship floated above the forest like a silent predator. Its silver hull gleamed in the faint moonlight. Inside, Princess Lysera stood frozen on the command deck. Her sharp golden eyes locked on the screens. Human gunfire echoed faintly. From below, explosions lit up the trees. They're still attacking? She hissed, even after losing so many. Varric, her lead guard, tightened his grip on his plasma rifle. They're not fighting like prey, Princess. They're fighting like... He hesitated. Like what? Lysera demanded. Varric glanced at her, his face grim, like predators. The night ambushed down below. The human soldiers moved like shadows. They slid through the dense underbrush, their boots silent against the damp earth. Captain Marcus raised his hand, signaling his team to stop. He pointed at a clearing ahead where 3 Zoran soldiers stood guard beside a glowing supply crate. Marcus whispered, "We hit hard and fast. No mistakes." The humans split into pairs. 2 soldiers crept up behind the aliens while the others aimed their rifles from a distance. Crack. Crack. The silence shattered as bullets ripped through the night. The first alien collapsed with a strangled cry, purple blood spilling across the crate. The second turned, but a knife flashed in the darkness, cutting his throat before he could fire. The third alien raised his energy rifle, screaming in panic. But a human grenade landed at his feet, and the explosion tore him apart. Marcus stepped into the clearing, his face hard. Take what we can. Burn the rest. Within minutes, the humans looted alien energy cells, strange metals, and even a damaged plasma rifle. Primitive, huh? One soldier muttered. Let's see how primitive. We are when we turn their toys against them. Lysera's growing fair in the Zoran ship. Alarms blared. Ah, a technician shouted. Princess, our forward supply team. They're gone. Wiped out. Lysera slammed her hand against the console. This is impossible. These creatures don't even have proper weapons? Arvon, the ship's lead scientist, spoke softly. Perhaps that is what makes them dangerous. They do not think like us. They do not fight like us. Lysera turned on him, her golden eyes burning. Are you saying we can't crush them? Arvon hesitated. I'm saying they adapt too quickly. Every time we strike, they learn. When they learn, they kill. Varric stepped forward. Princess, we need reinforcements. Call High Command. Lysera's hands trembled. No, if I call for help now, they'll strip me of my command. We'll handle this ourselves. But deep inside, fear twisted her stomach. The human resilience. Dawn, the humans launched another attack. This time, they struck at a Zoran landing zone. Alien dropships sat lined up like silver insects in the field. Marcus and his team crawled through the tall grass, carrying bundles of explosives. Remember, Marcus whispered, we hit fast and get out. If they see us, we're dead. They set charges on the dropship's fuel lines. The smell of alien chemicals stung their noses. A Zoran patrol approached. Marcus froze, signaling his men to stay low. The aliens scanned the field with glowing visors. One paused, tilting his head as if sensing something. Marcus's finger hovered. Over his rifle trigger, sweat dripped down his brow. Then a bird screeched in the distance, and the patrol moved on. Go, Marcus hissed. They finished setting the charges and slipped back into the trees. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions ripped through the field. The dropships burned, sending plumes of black smoke into the sky. Alien bodies were thrown into the air like rag dolls from a safe distance. Marcus watched the fire spread. That's for my men, he growled. Zoran morale breaks. Lysera's ship shook as alarms screamed. Princess, shouted a panicked voice. Our landing zone is under attack. Dropships destroyed. Casualties are high. Lysera gripped the railing. What is happening to us? Varric's voice was tight with anger. The humans are not giving up. Even when outgunned, even when outnumbered, they don't surrender. Irvin whispered almost to himself. Perhaps they don't know how. Lysera's golden eyes narrowed. If they want war, we'll give them war. But her voice trembled, betraying her fear. On the ground, Marcus and his men raised their rifles. To the sky as the alien ship hovered above. Let them send more, Marcus said, his voice cold. We'll take them down too, piece by piece. At that moment, a human radio cracked to life. This is command. Operation Spearhead is a go. Time to take the fight to them. Lysera's voice echoed in her ship as she whispered in horror. What? What is Operation Spearhead? The Zoran command ship floated above Earth's surface like a silver predator waiting to strike. Its engines hummed low and steady, but inside, the tension was thick. Princess Lysera sat stiffly in her command chair, her golden eyes scanning the glowing screens. The forest below seemed calm, yet every rustling leaf made her skin crawl. Report, she said coldly. Varric stood rigid beside her. Our ground teams are scattered. Nearly half the dropships are destroyed. Humans are moving faster than we expected. Lysera's fingers dug into the armrests. They are primitives. They have no fleets, no plasma weapons. How can they resist us? Arvon, her chief scientist, hesitated before speaking.
Princess?
The humans are adapting. Every time we counter their tactics, they create new ones. Their technology is simple, but their minds... He paused. Their minds are dangerous. Lysera's voice dropped to a whisper. Then we crush their minds before they can think again. A deadly new plan. Lysera stood and walked to the center of the command deck. We will burn their cities, kill their leaders, break their will. By the time we are finished, there will be no humans left to fight us. Varric nodded. The fleet is ready to deploy, my lady. Good. Begin the assault. The battle for Ashen City far below. The humans were waiting. Captain Marcus crouched on a rooftop overlooking Ashton City. The town was quiet, its streets empty. But he knew the aliens were coming. Hold the line, Marcus said into his radio. Operation Spearhead starts now. In the distance, the air shimmered as alien dropships appeared sleek. Black crafts descending like vultures. Here they come, whispered Private Daniels. The first dropship fired a blast of green energy, vaporizing a car into molten slag. All units, fire. Marcus shouted, boom, boom, boom. Hidden artillery roared to life. Human soldiers had set up old-fashioned flat cannons and rocket launchers on rooftops and in alleyways. Explosions ripped through the sky as the first dropship spiraled out of control and slammed into a building. The Zoran are caught off guard in Lysera's ship. Alarms blared, Princess. Dropship Alpha has been destroyed, technician cried. Lysera's golden eyes went wide. How humans ambushed them. They've set traps all over the city. Lysera slammed her fist against the console. Send more troops. Burn the new city to the ground. Humans fight like demons on the ground. The battle raged. Marcus and his team moved through smoke-filled streets, planting explosive charges and picking off alien soldiers with rifle fire. Keep moving, Marcus barked. Don't let them regroup. A squad of Zoran warriors advanced, their energy rifles cutting down human defenders. But as they reached the city square, a hidden minefield erupted beneath their boots. Boom. Boom. Alien bodies flew. Through the air, their silver armor shredded like paper. Daniels reloaded his rifle and muttered, They call us primitive. But we're still standing, and they're not. The turning point. Lysera watched in horror as another dropship exploded on the screens. Purple flames licked at the sky. Impossible, she whispered. This was supposed to be an easy conquest. Arvin turned to her, his face pale. Princess.
Yes.
If we stay, we risk losing the entire fleet. No, Lysera shouted. We are the Zoran Empire. Do not run from savages. But deep down, fear gnawed at her heart. Humans adapt again, as the alien fleet tried to regroup. Human engineers rolled out their secret weapon, a massive railgun built from salvaged alien metal. The railgun hummed with power, its barrel glowed. faintly as it locked on to a Zoran gunship hovering over the city. Fire. Marcus ordered TWACCrack-THOOM. The railgun fired a metal slug at near light speed. It punched through the alien gunship's shields and armor like butter. The craft exploded in a brilliant flash, raining debris over the battlefield. The human soldiers cheered. Marcus spoke into his radio. "Tell Command Operation Spearhead is working. We're taking our planet back." On Lysara's ship, chaos reigned. Screens flashed red warnings. Officers screamed orders as more alien ships fell from the sky. Varric grabbed Lysara's arm. "Princess, we must retreat." Lysara's voice trembled. No, this isn't possible." But in her heart she knew Earth was no longer theirs to take. At that moment a human radio signal broke through the alien comms. A calm, deadly voice said, "This is Earth's first and final. Warning, leave our skies, or we'll come for yours." Lysara felt her blood run cold. Princess Lysara stood frozen on the command deck. The air around her felt heavy, suffocating. On the main screen, the once proud Zoran fleet burned. Dropships spiraled out of the sky like falling stars, their wreckage lighting up the forest below. "How are they doing this?" she whispered, her golden eyes wide with disbelief. Arvin, her chief scientist, stepped forward cautiously. "Princess, humans are not prey. They're hunters. And we have walked straight into their territory. Humans take the fight to the Zorin down on the ground." Captain Marcus and his team crept through the ruins of Ashton City. Smoke curled into the morning air. Alien wreckage littered the streets. Marcus raised his hand, signaling for silence. "Listen." The faint sound of alien boots clanged against metal. Zoran patrol advanced down the street, their rifles glowing faintly in the dim light. "Two squads," whispered Daniels, crouching beside Marcus. "Looks like they're searching for survivors." Marcus's eyes narrowed. Then let's give them some." The humans split up, moving like ghosts through the rubble. They set up crude trap strip wires connected to grenades. Glass bottles balanced on doorways and hidden spike pits as the first alien stepped into an alley. A wire snapped beneath his boot, click boom. The explosion ripped through the narrow space, shredding the patrol in seconds. Screams echoed off the walls, but Marcus and his team were already gone. Melting into the shadows, Lysara watches in horror on the ship. Lysara watched a live feed from a Zoran soldier's helmet. The view spun wildly as the alien ran for his life. Human bullets pinged off walls around him. Shields down, shields down. The soldier screamed before a sharp crack silenced him. The screen went black. Lysara staggered backward, her legs weak. "They're everywhere," she muttered. "They're hunting us." Varric, her lead guard, spoke grimly. "This planet belongs to them, Princess. Not to us. Not anymore." The predators whirled in the forests. Humans struck again. They used old hunting tactics in bushes, decoys, and traps passed down through generations. Marcus crouched beside a massive tree, aiming his rifle at a Zoran officer barking orders to his soldiers. Crack. The alien's head snapped back, purple blood spraying into the air. The others panicked, firing wildly into the trees. "They don't know where we are," Daniels whispered with a grin. "We're ghosts to them," Zoran soldiers begin. To break inside the Zoran camp, panic spread like wildfire. Soldiers whispered in fear about the humans' tactics. "They don't fight fair. They appear and vanish like animals. They're demons. They kill us in our sleep." Even the elite warriors looked shaken. One alien grabbed Arvon by the arm. "Why are our shields useless against them? Why can't we crush them?" Arvon's. The voice was low. "'Cause they've been predators for millions of years. They evolved to hunt, and now they're hunting us." Lysara's dilemma in her private chamber. Lysara stared at her reflection in the polished metal wall. Her once confident golden eyes now looked hollow. "They were supposed to be weak," she whispered to herself. "They were supposed to kneel before us." Varric entered quietly. "Princess, we've lost over 60% of our forces. If we stay, we risk total annihilation." Lysera spun to face him, her voice trembling with rage and fear. If I retreat, the High Command will call me a coward, will strip me of everything. Better to live as a coward, Varric said softly, than to die at the hands of predators. The human messages Lysera debated, a human signal, broke through the alien communications. It wasn't scrambled, wasn't encrypted, was deliberate. Marcus's voice came through, calm and cold. This is Earth. You came here to hunt us. But now you're the prey. Leave our world while you still can. Lysera's hands shook as she listened. Next time, we won't just defend our planet. We'll come for yours. Lysera stood silent on the deck as Marcus's voice faded. Her soldiers stared at her, waiting for orders. For the first time in her life, she didn't know what to say. Deep in her heart, she realized a horrifying truth. We didn't conquer Earth. We awakened it. The Zorian command ship floated high above Earth, but its glow no longer inspired fear. Below, humans moved like shadows through the forests and ruins. Striking fast and vanishing before the aliens could react, Princess Lysera stood still on the command deck, her golden eyes fixed on the glowing battle maps. Red markers her troops kept disappearing one by one. Report, she said coldly. But even she could hear the tremor in her voice. A nervous technician replied, Princess, over 70% of our ground forces are gone. Humans keep ambushing our patrols and salvaging our technology. Lysera turned sharply. What do you mean salvaging? Arvin, the ship's lead scientist, stepped forward. His face was pale. They're collecting our wreckage, Princess. Weapons, armor, even scraps of our ships. They're learning how our technology works, and they're adapting it. Lysera's heart skipped a beat. Arvin swallowed. Hard, humans are primitive no longer. They're using our power against us. A dangerous discovery down on the ground, Captain Marcus crouched beside a glowing alien rifle. His engineers worked quickly, connecting human batteries to alien energy cells. Will it work? Marcus asked. An engineer nodded. It's crude, but yeah. We can fire their weapons now. Good. Marcus stood and scanned the horizon. If they're going to bring war to Earth, we'll use their own tools to send them home in pieces. Nearby, human soldiers tested alien shields. Strapped to their arms, the shields flickered and hummed, adapting to the humans' rough hands. The first hybrid strike that night, the humans launched a counterattack. Using salvaged alien rifles, they fired glowing energy bolts into Zoran patrols. The aliens didn't understand they're using our weapons. Zoran soldiers screamed before being cut down by a blast of blue light in the forest. Marcus whispered into his radio, Keep pushing. Don't let them regroup. The humans moved like predators. Old rifles mixed with alien energy rifles, primitive explosives combined with advanced plasma grenades. Earth's army was no longer primitive. It was something new, something terrifying. Panic in the Zoran ranks on Lysera's ship. Chaos reigned. Princess, shouted a panicked voice. Our forces are falling back. The humans are using hybrid weapons now. We can't predict their attacks. Lysera's hand shook. How is this possible? They shouldn't even understand our technology. Arvin spoke grimly. Humans are not like the others we've conquered. They adapt too fast. They turn weaknesses into strengths. It's unnatural. Heck. Her lead guard added, They fight with a kind of desperation we've never seen before. To them, this isn't just war. It's survival. The railguns returning Ashton City. Human engineers finished reloading the massive railgun they had built from alien scrap. Marcus stood beside it, staring at the sky. Target locked? He asked. Yes, sir, replied an operator. We've got one of their carriers in range. Fire. The railgun hummed, glowing brighter and brighter, and fired with a deafening crack. A solid metal slug screamed upward at near light speed, high above. The Zoran carrier didn't have time to react. The slug punched straight through its shields and hull. The massive ship erupted in flames, splitting apart in the clouds. On Lysera's ship, alarms blared. Princess, the Vanguard carrier is destroyed. Lysera staggered backward. No, it can't be. The human message as the alien fleet scrambled. A human broadcast cut through their encrypted channels. Marcus's voice was calm, but carried an edge. Of steel, you came here with power and pride. Now you see what happens when humanity fights back. You call us primitive, but we call ourselves survivors. When survivors fight, they win. Lysera's blood ran cold. The camera zooms in on Lysera's face as she whispers, "We thought they were animals, but they're monsters. We've set them free." Behind her, Varric spoke the words no Zoran wanted to hear. "Princess, this isn't their first war. It's only ours." The Zoran flagship hovered in Earth's upper atmosphere, but its once glorious silver hull was now scarred and burning in places. Inside, Princess Lysera gripped the cold rail of the command deck, her golden eyes filled with panic. Alarms blared. Sparks rained from shattered panels. The crew shouted over each other in fear. "Princess, humans have shot down another carrier. Our forces are breaking apart. They've learned how to jam our comms." Lysera slammed, her fist against the console. "This is madness. How can these primitives keep defeating us?" Varric, her loyal guard, spoke in a low, steady voice. "Because they don't fight like we do. They don't fear death like we do." Earth fights back on the ground. Captain Marcus and his soldiers moved through the smoking ruins of Ashton City. Their bodies were caked in dirt and sweat, but their eyes burned with determination. The humans carried a mix of weapons old. Rifles strapped beside glowing alien plasma rifles. Salvaged shields flickered on their arms, powered by cracked Zoran energy cells. Marcus stopped and turned to his team. "Listen up. We've got reports that their flagship is in low orbit. If we take it out, the rest of their fleet will scatter." Private Daniels frowned. "How do we hit something that high?" A faint smile crossed Marcus's face. "We use their own tech." "The railgun's ready." The railgun fires again, in a hidden base deep in the forest. Engineers prepared the massive hybrid railgun. Its long barrel pointed straight at the sky. "Charge at 98%, an operator shouted. Target locked on the Zoran flagship. Marcus's voice came over the radio. "Do it. Send them a message they'll never forget. Crack-thoom." The railgun fired with a deafening blast. A solid metal slug screamed upward, breaking the sound barrier. High above, the Zoran flagship's sensors flared red. "Princess," shouted a panicked officer. "Incoming projectile." Shields at full, but it was too late. The slug tore through. The ship's shields like paper, punching a hole clean through the engine bay. Fire and smoke billowed into the void as explosions rocked the massive vessel. Panic among the Zoran on the command deck. Lysera staggered as the floor shook violently. Engines failing. "Hull breach in Sector 7, shouted a technician. .lys era. Clutched the rail, her hands trembling. How? Arvin, her chief scientist, turned to her, his voice almost breaking. "Princess, these humans, they've turned into something else. They've become predators, and we're trapped in their hunting grounds." Human fearlessness, as the Zoran ship listed in the sky. Marcus looked up from the forest floor. He spoke into his radio calmly. "Target hit. Enemy flagship is wounded. Cheers." Erupted from human squads hidden across the forest. "They bleed," Marcus said coldly. "If they bleed, we can kill them." Desperate measures back on the Zoran ship, Varric stepped forward, his face hard. "Princess, we must retreat. The humans are no longer a primitive species. If we stay, they'll destroy us all." Lysera shook her head violently. "No, I will not return in shame. The Empire will call me a coward." Varric's golden eyes narrowed. Better a coward than a corpse. Before Lysera could answer, a massive explosion ripped through the ship's lower decks. The command deck lights flickered. "Princess, they've launched a second railgun strike. Shields are gone." The human threat as the Zoran flagship burned in the sky, another human broadcast broke into their comms. Marcus's voice was calm and deadly. "This is your last chance. Leave our skies, leave our world, or we'll bring this war to your home." Lysera felt her stomach twist. For the first time in her life, she understood what true fear felt like. Lysera turned to Varric, her voice shaking. "Came to hunt them, but they're the hunters now. They've made Earth a trap and we walk straight into it. It's fire. Consumed parts of the ship. Varric gave her a grim look. This isn't their first war, Princess. It may be ours, Ma, but it's not theirs. And for the first time, Lysera whispered the unthinkable. Perhaps we should run. The Zorian flagship was no longer a proud war machine. It hung broken in the sky, black smoke pouring from its hull. Fires burned in its lower decks. An alarm screamed across every corridor. Princess Lysera stood trembling on the command deck. Her golden armor, once gleaming, was now scorched and cracked. All systems failing, Princess, a technician cried. The humans there preparing another strike. Lysera gripped the edge of her chair. Her voice was barely a whisper. How? How did it come to this? The humans close in on the ground. Captain Marcus stood with his soldiers in the ruins of Ashton City. The forest around them was alive with activity, humans rearming, reloading, and salvaging more alien tech. Marcus raised his radio to his lips. This is Marcus. The flagship is damaged, but still airborne. Prepare the railguns for one final shot. An operator replied, Sir, do we finish them? Marcus looked up at the burning alien ship, his jaw tight. No, he said coldly. We send them a message first. The human broadcast in the Zoran flagship, the communications. Screen flickered to life. Marcus's face appeared, its expression calm, but his eyes sharp like a predator's. His voice echoed through the ship. This is Earth. You came here to conquer us. You called us primitive, weak, and unworthy of survival. But now you see the truth? We are not prey. We are hunters. Leave our skies, Lysera. Take your broken fleet and run back to the Empire. Tell them what you found here. Lysera's lips parted in shock. No species had ever dared speak to her like this. If you don't leave, Marcus continued, we won't stop. We'll hunt. You and the stars. We'll bring your empire to its knees. We'll remind the galaxy why you should never wake a sleeping predator. The transmission ended. Silence filled the command deck. Fear in the Zoran ranks. The Zoran soldiers whispered. Nervously, they fight like demons. They turned our weapons against us. They won't stop. Varric, Lysera's lead guard, stepped forward. Princess, they're giving us a choice. Leave or die here. Lysera's hands trembled. She wanted to scream, to order one last attack. But deep down she knew the truth. They had already lost. The retreat prepare the fleet for withdrawal, Lysera said quietly. The officers stared in shock. Princess, have you heard me? She barked, regaining some of her fire. Set course for Zoran Prime. Engage stealth drives. You leave at once. As the remaining ships turned skyward, Lysera cast one last look at Earth on the viewing screen. The blue-green planet glowed softly, surface scarred by war, but still alive, still defiant. This isn't over, she thought. One day we will return. But another voice in her mind whispered, and if you do, they'll be waiting. Human victory on the ground. Cheers erupted as the alien fleet began to pull back. They're leaving. We did it. Earth is free. Marcus watched silently, his rifle still in hand. Daniels grinned. Sir, aren't you going to celebrate? Marcus shook his head. No, this wasn't a victory. It was a warning. A warning, Daniels asked. Marcus's eyes stayed fixed on the retreating ships. Yes, today we fought for our planet. Tomorrow, we fight for the galaxy. The final message as the last Zoran ship vanished into the stars. Humanity sent one final transmission. This is Earth. We will never bow. We will never break. To any who would threaten us, remember this day. You're on this little blue world. You learn the truth. We are not prey. We are predators. And we do not forgive. Far across the galaxy, Lysera stood before the Zoran High Council. Her head was bowed in shame as she spoke. The humans. They're different. They're dangerous. If we're not careful, they could be the end of us all. The High Lord sneered. They're only one planet. Lysera raised her eyes, her golden gaze filled with dread. One planet. That's all it takes.